Yes, awesome. I'm so excited. Well, welcome everyone. We're going to do a really quick introduction here. My name is Emma Shapiro. I'm a physical therapist and your alternative healthcare career coach for tonight. Mike took the night off. We miss him, but he's busy opening up Jerry Hab, his outpatient clinic. So we're super excited and proud of him. And I am here with Christina Buchanan. She is the owner of Thrive. Trinity. Sorry. Trinity Speech Therapy. And it is a speech and language business, but it has so many unique, multifaceted approach to not only caregiving in the terms of speech therapy, but in terms of how to operate your business and how to, like, what areas are you generating revenue and income from? We're going to talk a lot about that because it gives your business stability. We know that treating patients, there can be a lull in between receiving insurance and receiving the reimbursement. And so that's why we're going to talk about different opportunities you can do, different ideas that you can have to generate cash income and more stability, and just be creative and just have an amazing business. So that was a really long introduction. Thank you, Christina, for being here.
Introducing me. Thank you, everybody. Welcome, Christy, Elizabeth, Gwen, and Katie. Thanks so much for being on the call tonight. And for anyone that decides to see us after, I know this will be available. So I'm very, very excited to be here tonight. And thank you so much for your time, your ears, your minds, in focusing on this topic. I think this is such an exciting journey, really. And I think a lot of different boutique businesses, or so to say, private practices. And I'll interchange those words. So if you hear me say boutique business, I'm talking about a private practice. A lot of our private practices out here in North Carolina are very one or mono focused. So we have, just one side. We have the outpatient, and we have maybe home health, but we don't have a blend of businesses, which actually I think is a much more stable and more supportive model. So let me explain my business a little bit to you, give you a sense of what that entails. I'm a speech language pathologist by trade. I love what I do. I've been doing this for now over 14 or 15 years now. I don't know. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. But that's a good thing when it's that long ago, but yet, you know where you should be right now. So I've started this business concept for the last 5 to 10 years and decided to really jump in and dig in. Why not during COVID, right? So it was a time for me to really mull over where I wanted to be. I came down here about 6 years ago from Massachusetts to North Carolina. So I am a Northern star now living in the Southern Belle territory. So I really love where I am. But I noticed a lot of missing puzzle pieces to the healthcare and the rehabilitation settings, just a lot of different missing pieces. And I think a lot of us, when we go from one place to another, whether it's geographically and or setting wise, we bring a lot of our skills with us. We bring a lot of what we know, and we bring a lot of our talent with us, and we don't give ourselves enough credit for that. So, right now, just give yourself a pat on the back, because you guys are doing phenomenally in the field that you're in, whatever you're doing. And I want you to think about how much credit you're giving yourself and how much credit maybe you're not giving yourself. And so keeping that open mind with the thought process of, so if I'm not doing X and Y, but I'm doing A and B, how can I tie A and B and X and Y together? So I'm a little
Yes.
sciencey on you, okay? So we talk about how our bodies just generally do the DNA thing. Well, how can we do the DNA thing in our business? How can we get the perfect combination and perfect molecule that's working in our businesses? And slow me down, raise your hand, say, hey, girl, you're going too fast. Or just send your questions right to our chat booth too, and we'll get to them. Emma and I are both keeping an eye on that tonight, and we definitely want to answer all your questions as they come. I want to give you this idea. I want to give you this like start point, and I want to give you a lot of energy tonight to tell you that you can do this. It is not, an awful thought, or whatever you're thinking is not wrong, okay? And whatever you tried before is not failed. You're not failing. It is just a hurdle. It is just a season. And you have to remember that as you're going through the motions of coming up with this idea and the skeleton of this business, this side gig, whatever it is you want to do, if it's a support group, a caregiver support group, if it's a class, okay, you're a PT and you want to teach a class, so cool, do it, and charge cash. You start to earn that now. You might think about that side gig as the lead to your company. Okay, so that's the lead into your company. That's the marketing. Whatever you do in your side gigs or in your startups, that is what's going to set you in motion for your bigger thing, for your larger journey, whatever that may be. Or it stays a side gig and you just enjoy it. Okay. Divesting and multifaceted business approach. So let's talk about that. I have two different settings I am in. I have a clinic. I have my office out in Apex, North Carolina. Love it there. I work with a group of psychiatrists. Unbeknownst to me, I would have landed there, but I really enjoy it and it's wonderful. And we inter-refer, so it's great. And again, just another opportunity. So looking at it from an opportunity angle to gather business. And again, it's a starting place where I then said to myself, well, this is a great place to be, no matter what it is. And I'm going to make the best of my opportunity with the people that I'm surrounded by and hopefully make an impact on them as to what speech pathology is really about, and explaining that model to them. Now, the other side of it that we work on, and this is the bread and butter of the company. This is the fun stuff that I love to do, is the senior living. So I am a Med-B outpatient senior living specialist in North Carolina. So I have multiple buildings that I go see. And we went from 2 clients in COVID to now, which were 2 to 4 visits a week, to now we are at almost 25 visits a week.
Woo! Yeah, give yourself a pat on the back. And just to preface, you started this business about, we'll say like 1 year.
I want to say we had our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Our 1-year B day was back in June.
So like 0 to 20 some patients during COVID. Yep. Amazing. And starting your business during COVID, amazing. So if Christina can do it, like you can do it. You can do it.
Now listen, guys, I just want to tell you this, that it takes grit. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes focus, and it takes just being patient in the beginnings of that process. You're going to go through growing pains. And every company does, okay? Every side gig will go through changes too, its own little changes. But the cool thing about starting up small, okay, and starting up kind of in a slow and steady wins the race kind of thought process. Now you see a lot of these, maybe people coming out and saying, I've got 27 patients in one day. Now remember, I think of a therapist, I think of who I am in my olden days of corporate. And I say, well, if I have 27 patients starting at once, I'm going to have like almost 27 discharges all at once. So the idea when you're growing your business is to grow slow and steady, but to also, as you get busier, to stagger those, kinds of discharges and keep a rolling clientele coming in as you're thinking about that. So that is why the outpatient has been the hardest thing to grow. But my senior living side, that's my bread and butter. I have about 90% of my cases out there. So it's wonderful. That's what's keeping the generation. Then I've got more outpatient people hearing about me, and that's kind of the slow turtle that's heading up towards the finish line. But it's really, really a great balance of the two, because I'm not as chaotically busy. I'm busy, and maybe I am chaotically busy, but I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying it. And I'm actually seeing the progress and the growth of my company at a good progression. And I can slow it down. I can speed it up. I can hit the gas, or I can step on the brake. The other side of the business that I love, okay, that I'm really passionate about, is the divestments. So it's the education. I'm an educator. I enjoy it. I've mentored, I've done supervision, I've managed, I've worked corporate with outcome measures, with home health. I've worked with the higher ups with all kinds of different outcome measures and things like that, auditing, documentation on different levels. And I've done a lot of mentoring around the New England area. When I moved here, I said to myself, there is not enough education. there's just not enough. And there's not enough education anywhere. We all know that there are places where it needs focus, where there's education, there's pockets, there's populations that need that desperately. So I decided to, just as of about 4 or 5 months ago, say, okay, we're going to start targeting support groups. We're going to start putting these support groups in our senior living facilities that we're working in actively. And we are going to also create that as a referral generation basis. So
Nice.
some of these kinds of support groups might open the opportunity for screens afterwards, or they might open the opportunity for a conversation with a family member who would like to call me and set up the evaluation with their mom. So these are really, really, really super great ways to start the process. Whether you're already insured or whether you're just doing a support group, you can
Yeah.
gather the idea that you can gain a lot of traction and a lot of domino effect or Doppler effect motion just from one divestment, just from one support group, one educational conference. They're going to want what you have. They're going to want what you have to offer once they realize, wow, this was a powerful educational moment. Wow, I'm having an epiphany. I'm having an aha moment. Just recently, I did a free health chat, free, at one of my buildings. And I said, I'll do it free, the first one. And that's the thing. You tell yourself, I'm not going to keep going free. I need to start making a general progression or a movement to being cash based. So you've got to start charging at some point. I think 1 to 2 free, and
Yeah.
that's a good, and get me if I'm wrong there, Emma. I think that's probably a good starter for a lot of these places. And then from there, decide, what your price point is. Decide what you're offering. If you're putting a lot more resources out there, if you're putting more than an hour or 2 hours of time, you price it with that. My support groups are about, they're about $100. So that's what I do. And every company, every building is like, no, we want to do that. We're going to do that. I provide a handout to the patients or the residents at the end so they can look at the resources available to them in the area. And then I just go from there and I say, look, if you want this to happen again, we can do this in another 2 to 3 months. And it can be repopulated. We can come up with a new topic. And you already have the PowerPoint. It's ready to go. You just change the topics. You keep the information pretty structurally similar. You always give an introduction to your disease, whatever it is. It's Parkinson's, dementia, and then you get into the topic. So for me, this upcoming Thursday, I have a Parkinson's support group at one of our locals, and we are so excited to present. This is the first time they're hosting this at their facility, and they really want this to be a big turnout. They're actually opening it up to the community,
Wow.
not just the assisted living, but that again refers, a lot more people outside. Then we do it for the patient's family members. We do a family support group the following month. And that's actually, I think, even more impactful because the family members can really hear what you have to offer.
That's
So,
amazing. I love it.
yeah,
I mean, there were so many great ideas, so many great ideas. You have this, before this webinar started. I know some of you missed it a little bit, but before this webinar started, we were talking about other cash ideas in addition to support groups. So simple courses like caregiver education courses to
right,
sort of give you that cash stability. And also, I talk a lot. I know I am more of the course centric because I do a lot of courses, but the reason why I like it is because sometimes patients feel like they maybe can't afford something. And so it gives you an opportunity. You never want to be turning down a patient because they can't afford something. So you can either negotiate rates, negotiate packages, but
right,
another great way is to have sort of a lower end course to still give them some information
right,
and allow them to keep you in the back of their mind. And then you reach back out later and you're like, hey, how is that course working out? You want to do a quick session off of that. So there's a lot of unique things you can do. One of I'm working on a web client, and I know some of you already heard this, so I'll be really quick, but I was working with a web client, an occupational therapist, and she's coming up with genius ideas. So she's adding in LED light therapy, cryotherapy, and other aesthetic therapy and pain management that's more cash based.
right,
So you have these all these opportunities to level your wait time while you're waiting for insurance reimbursements with these other areas that you can really help people. And it's only going to not only improve your stability, but give you more opportunity for people to come in, client interaction, and repeat business. I think the one bad thing is that the therapy model, we discharge patients, which is good. They get better. Woohoo. But
Right.
the one bad thing is sometimes we don't have that recurring revenue like other practices, like maybe a chiropractic practice would have or a dentist practice would have. But if you can incorporate some of these other pain management measures like cryotherapy or LED light therapy or education, which you sort of want to touch up on every so often, it gets people to come back to you for like a 6-month checkup or an annual checkup. And that's where dentists are so busy
Mhm.
because half their clients are checkups. And so if we can almost create like a checkup system, then you're going to have this like consistency, which is what Christina really is trying to
Let
build in
me
her
give you
business.
a formula for that.
Oh, I
So
love it. I
a
love it.
little formula. So take a note of this. A formula or a formulary is what, you come up with a little system. So each of my clients, I go through the discharges, every 3 to 6 months, I look through and I go back and I say, okay, who needs a touchback? And I make a list and I put that list in a file on my computer and I go back through that and I pull that up or I stick it right on my desktop because I know with everything else going on I could simply forget to check on that list. But I will create, as I'm kind of discharging patients, and especially specific ones with diseases that I know are going to need that touchback, like my dementia residents and or my Parkinson's residents. And so from there, I go back and I put a little green box or a little blue box on the ones that I know, okay, green box is the one I need to check back on 3 months. Blue box is the one I need to check back on 6 months. And I make a little color coded system at the bottom of my little map there. And once I go through and do my checks, I check it off. And then I know I've done that. I've left a message. And then usually they'll call back and say, hey, Christina, yeah, we're ready to come back. Or, hey, we need another month. We're going through some moving changes or whatever it may be. But at least I know that I've highlighted that patient and I keep actually a tracker with all my claims. So I can go back through my tracker in the same manner. So I've got 2 formularies that I work off of to make sure I'm touching back. And I love that idea,
Sorry.
Emma, about dentist because it's so true. And the other thing is I was talking about with a chiropractor not long ago about dentists. They need those x-rays in order to prove, what they're doing is effective. We do too. We need those imaging, those results. But the concept of going back and having that 6-month checkup, we should be doing the same exact thing
Yes.
with that idea because that's what's going to keep our providership connected with those patients. You
Yes.
want to keep a solid and a sound clientele base. I believe that our disciplines, our PTs and our OTs and our STs, we are all just as important as those doctors, as
Yes.
those neurologists. And the neurologists, they don't always see within a year, and they probably should. Okay. So even their systems are not as soundproof. So come up with a soundproof system if you're in the process of and or thinking about creating your own business, especially multifaceted. It is so essential to come up with your list and your checks and balances and making sure you're circling back with these residents because we know that they change.
Yeah.
We know that they're going to have changes coming up. And for us to keep in tuned with them just tells them how great of a provider we are and that we really are about the care.
Exactly. And it doesn't even have to be like, hey, do you need care now? Like, you can just call and be like, hey, I just wanted to check in. It's been a couple months, just wanted to see how you're doing. And, there's a lot of different really cool techniques out there. And the thing is people will remember kindness. People remember that. So you could just do a little hand note and send it in the mail to them. Oh my gosh, they're going to think it's so cute and so nice. And, or you could send them like a little t-shirt or a little sticker or something. And that's maybe like a couple dollars out of your pocket, but they'll wear that t-shirt. And the reason why we have t-shirts, just like Christina has t-shirts, is it's great branding. So
It is.
you get people in the local area to wear your t-shirt. They can win prizes. Like there's so many cool things you can do to like amp up and have fun. Like when you graduate, you get a t-shirt, or
Yeah.
when you know, such and such, you get this. And there's a lot of unique ways to generate more fun for our clinic too. Like I'm doing that with our courses. I'm trying to have it be more fun where people can win a gift card if they do this and that. And why have that only be in the business realm? I think it can be in the healthcare realm. And people love that. Even if it's something small, they just love that, love competition, and create a leaderboard. Or I don't know, maybe that's probably not HIPAA compliant. I'm just coming up with ideas here, but just have fun is where I'm going with it, and be creative. But reaching out can be a way to generate more consistent income, but also connect you with people that are your referral source. We talk about, building a business effortlessly. And Christina will talk about this in a second, but a lot of her patients come from just word of mouth, come from just being great, and being outstanding in the care you provide. And people then will be like, no, I want Christina. I want Gwen. I want Elizabeth. And you don't even have to try to grow your practice because people will request you.
That's basically what's happened in one of the buildings. And oddly and uniquely, this particular building I worked in before with another company, I let the legal time frame go by. But I had callbacks from clients trying to look for me, and getting their loved one back on service. And I giggle because it's a humbling experience too, because it's like, you really want me? Like me?
I know, right?
And of course I didn't mouth that, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, I must have made an impact in some way, a unique impact, because it was enough for them to want to come back. And that's, again, it goes right back to providership. Are you the go-to for whatever it is you're good at, whether it's dementia, Parkinson's, um, you know, yoga, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
education, whatever it is, okay? Are you the go-to for that? Do you love what you do enough to show those patients that part of you that they're like, she really loves what she does. Oh, and we learned something. Now we got to go back. And so I'm discharging a patient this coming week, and he's been on since really kind of the beginning, where in the beginning of the year, and COVID was kind of at a crazy pace in February. And I think during this season and time, people really do connect with you because they don't have a lot of that
Yeah.
interaction with their family members. And you become kind of part of that community for them. You become part of that liaisonship. And not only just professionally, but they really personally rely on you in certain ways. And I think that, seeing your face, the days that they know you're coming, I see the dread in my patient's face, like, you're leaving me.
I know, right? Oh,
It
I
is
know.
hilarious, to see that, but it's also very, compelling to see that.
Yeah.
And so I will be checking back with him in actually September. The family is like, "We want you back in September. Can you reassess?" And I said, "Of course I can. Of
Well,
course I."
especially for neuro patients,
Right, right.
they need that check-in, like you said. They really do, because unfortunately, there's often some sort of decline, some sort of deconditioning,
Oh,
even with the best caregivers. It's not on them. It's just the way it is, that the condition of the diagnosis. Christy had a really good question here. And yeah, why don't we, if we'd love to do some questions. So
yeah,
we've been just trying to give you lots of ideas for creative, multifaceted businesses, more stable income
right.
throughout the business as you're growing your business. So if you have any questions about what Christina said, I think I want to touch on, after Christy's question here, we'll get to that, but I want to touch on some more of the support groups, because I think that
Yeah.
that's something that, maybe, get me wrong, put in the comments if you want to hear more about the support groups, but I love that that's generating buzz. And not only will it give you some income and generate clients, but it also generates feedback, so that you can actually hear people's questions and go, oh, ding, I need to work on that better in my practice. I
Right.
need to do that as another, opportunity that I could be serving for these people. So it's like you're getting paid feedback as well. So don't let me forget that. Let's answer Christy's question here first.
So is HIPAA compliance required for non-licensed wellness activities, yoga, for example?
Well, I think I'll try to answer this, and you can answer it to Christina as well. So in terms of HIPAA compliance, whenever you're in a facility, I think no matter what you're doing, there's HIPAA compliance right away as you enter the facility. Now, if you're asking about like how to sign someone up for like a wellness and say you're on Zoom, I I think that at least to start, you don't necessarily need to be HIPAA compliant for like a Zoom wellness class.
Right.
As you get bigger, you may want that because that's something you could put out there like, hey, we are a HIPAA compliant, yoga wellness program. But definitely, if you're in the facility, anything you do is HIPAA compliant. But in terms of like getting the signups, you can use the non-HIPAA version of Zoom. You could use simple email platforms like ConvertKit, Mailchimp, and things like that to collect your leads for yoga to do then the Zoom class. Do you concur, Christina?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think any of your patients, depending on if this is just solely a wellness gig or if this is going to turn into like clientele revenue, do you know what I'm saying? And that's going to generate more referrals, then you'll have to think about the broader scope of the HIPAA piece. So if this is kind of just your startup to really kind of do something fun on wellness side, I think the HIPAA piece is not as stringent. But if it's going to be something that will generate referrals, or if it is a client-based yoga class, then you're going to have to think of HIPAA parameters for sure.
Yeah.
Whether you're in person or on Zoom, I think that would kind of go for either or. Does that
Correct.
answer your question there,
Christy?
Christy?
Yeah. And I think too, like think of wellness coaches. So wellness coaches right now, they don't have to be HIPAA compliant.
Correct.
And so if you're doing wellness activities, think of what their compliance needs are, and you can sort of follow those compliance needs.
Exactly.
But let's see here. Okay, good. Excellent question. Well, let's please, any other questions? We're here to answer them. I mean, Christina is amazing. It's outstanding. Her brain, it's like, I want to take it and just share it to the world. So use this time. Hey, Yolanda, welcome. So use this time to ask her any questions. I'm serious. I mean it, Christina. You're so smart with this. 1 year, 20 patients. It's just, and you do it so effortlessly. But I want to talk about the support groups. So how did you introduce those into the facilities? Like, how did you convince the facilities to allow you to do a support group?
My ears were very open. I'm part of a nonprofit organization too. Y'all get in touch
Network.
with the network. That was a big, big starter for me. And it didn't necessarily generate tons of clients. Okay. It just gave me, information on who was really out there and who needed what. Okay. So the needs of facilities. I was listening. And not only is my organization's called Dementia Capable Cares, we're actually a nonprofit organization that works with businesses to make them more dementia friendly. And that's a big, big effort going on down here in North Carolina. We have a big event coming up in October I'm super excited about. And some of my patients actually want to be involved in this event, which I'm like start the waterworks. It's like so exciting. And I can't wait to see them there and see them supporting a bigger mission. And I think that is like kind of like the full circle idea of getting involved in nonprofits is to share something that's really important to you. Dementia is one of the areas that touches my heart in so many ways, not just with patients, but personally. I've had family members with it. And so it is just something that if you're passionate about it and you love it, it's definitely a way to start opening up the table to divesting. So the support groups, getting back to that, I'm listening to everybody talk at this nonprofit, a few meetings. I'm listening to just one person say, oh, I started a support group over here. And I said, okay, start a support group. I could start a support group. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to write these ideas down. I'm going to start coming up. And I started outlining the areas, the topics I could come up with for specific areas of neurodegenerative disease. So that's my specialty, is neurological diseases. And so when I looked at dementia, and I looked at Parkinson's specifically, and I said, Parkinson's is like not something that's going around. It's a buzzword in our neurological community, but it is not something that we focus on. So I've started bringing this to the table of one of my really dear senior living friends who happens to be a resident care director. And she said, no, I want you to come do a dementia one. I said, no, I want to do the Parkinson's one. I really do. We went back and forth about this. And I said,
fine, I'll do both.
so I started to, think about the concept of doing, at least starting her with one. So I came up with a really good, wonderful, wow presentation on dementia and a great support group. I had a couple people there. I didn't have many. But we were all at the end of this support group in tears, talking about our experiences and discussing the coping mechanisms that family members need. And it was so invigorating to me to know that, yes, the message was heard, the purpose was completed in that particular way. And I said, well, I'm going to knock it out of the park with that Parkinson's group one. And I shortly thereafter got an email from another marketing director, not even an RCC or a resident care coordinator from an assisted living. I expect that they would reach out. This was from a marketing person. So they were like looking at this, like, this is marketable for our building. So these are the people that I'm throwing out there, these terms with senior living. I want you guys, if you're thinking about to do any of these support groups, your marketing people, your RCCs, getting in tuned with the community, but your marketing people are going to give you your tours. They're going to buy into the idea of a support group at first, and they're going to sell that to the executive directors and or the directors of the building. So that's where you really start with that idea. I had another building reach out to me as I was doing marketing, and another building, no, we want that idea here. We want that idea here. So I've got 5 now potential solid buildings. That's a portion of my rent right there. And then the rest is income. So you see these, what we call multiple streams of income or divesting. It is one of the most intelligent and I think smartest moves that you can make if you're going to start a multifaceted setting, whether it's outpatient or you're just going to do that kind of, gig as a side gig. It is such a smart way to start the foundations of cash flow if you decide to do that first and then do your outpatient or start your clinic. You might even start your own wellness clinic from it. Who knows, if you really love it.
That's awesome.
So it's all just exciting things that are starting. I'm going to throw on some lights.
Yeah. Well, awesome. So, Christina's putting on some lights here. Hopefully that answered your question, Yolanda. But yeah, it's awesome, these support groups. And I think, like what she said, it's really rewarding too. Not only is it generating business, but it is true. Because like when I do these Zoom webinars right here with everyone, I'm like, oh, I'm tired, all this, but it actually reinvigorates me. Even though we have just a couple people on, it means really a lot to me and to Christina that you are interested. Just knowing that one person is interested is really exciting. And so we appreciate everyone being on right now.
I'm going to answer
Christy's
question here.
Yeah, go for it.
Senior resources, case management, concierge services. So that's actually part of what my business is. And the other divested part that is starting to kind of get some word into starting to get some growth is dementia advocacy. So I'm a certified dementia care specialist, similar to Mike. So I went through 14-hour grueling courses to go through that kind of certification. And there are different ones out there that are all offered. And Mike actually offers a program, I think, right here, which is great. And I think he's offering a course that he threw in a course or something like that. I don't want to throw him in under the bus over here, but I think he offered some sort of course, by the way, as part of this whole health challenge or this coaching challenge. So he threw something in free, and we got to find out what that is, Emma, but I think it's along the lines of a dementia course.
Yes, it is the Certified Dementia Practitioner Seminar. For everyone watching today, we'll answer this question. We'll go over it a little bit more at the last couple minutes here. If you want to stay on, we'd appreciate you listening to our, what we've created to help you learn more. We love doing these webinars, so you can continue to attend for free as well. These, extra webinars we have. But if you want to get even more in depth, we do have a healthcare business challenge, we're calling it. And that for just through this week, so till Sunday, if you sign up for the challenge, you get Mike's $250 certified dementia practitioner seminar course for free. And that enables you, once you take that, you can submit your form to be certified as a certified dementia practitioner.
And Gwen already went.
Yes, well worth the time. Oh, thank you, Gwen. I'm glad that you took that. Exactly. It's Mike, it goes above and beyond. I love taking his course because you get his extra knowledge. Very few people who teach that course have published books, are public speaking, own several businesses, and he does. So within that course, you're literally getting like a course within a course because you're getting all that extra info. So thank you. He'll appreciate those kind words.
I see something coming in.
Cool. Parkinson's grant. Awesome, Yolanda. Awesome.
That is great. Yes. So, so if you're getting, a lot of visibility in one direction, whether it's dementia, Parkinson's is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful area to get, certifications and work in there. It sounds like you also, Yolanda, I'm going to kind of read this skills to care, which is caregiver directed. I love that. Yeah. So you have all these different concierge like concepts kind of like under your belt at this point. And so you just have to figure out really where you want to direct your energy. If you're wanting to do the educational side, the support group side, I'm going to tell you is a hit right now. It is a big, big, big piece. And you can go upwards, depending on how long you want to make your support group, you can make a 2 to 4 hour support group session. And again, have multiple people in this support group. You could do this within your community. You could do this within senior living. There are so many different facets to this, but the wider you open this up to, the more opportunity you're going to have within your communities, and the more, I think, outreach you're going to have for this particular disease in this population that you're working with. That is so neat.
That's awesome. Congrats, Yolanda. Okay, well, any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And then real fast, I appreciate everyone's time. We have a really awesome program that I think is really unique if you do feel like you want more help. And I've called it the Healthcare Business Challenge. And it's not like a free challenge. I call it that because there's accountability measures and rewards throughout. Just like I talked about in the beginning, trying to make things fun, trying to push you to take action. We take a lot of courses and we don't finish them. We take a lot of courses and we don't actually create the business. And so I'm determined to not let anyone who signs up not have a business at the end. You must have a business at the end of this 8 weeks live training that we're doing. So I'm going to go down here and show you that this is 8 weeks right here. Every single week, we're going live for 90 minutes, walking you through in a small group. We're limiting this to just 20 people, where we're going through every single person's niche, making sure you choose a niche. And we'll be like, I've got emails and everything set up so that you're not going to feel alone. We're going to be making sure that you are confident with your niche, that everything's checked off. And then your brand, building your brand. That's your logo, that's your social media, everything. We're going to get that done week 2 so that you already have that presence going already for you. Then I know everyone's got questions about accounting and legal. We've got that here for you. Then how to attract clients, doing a variety of different things. Like Christina said, the divesting, talking to you about all sorts of different unique ways to generate clients and to generate patients and to generate buzz so that you're the authority. Like Christina now is the authority in her local area. And that's what we want you to be able to do too. Scaling your business, talking about hiring therapists. How do you hire? What forms do you need? All of that. And we have a variety of these forms for you as well. Going over sort of pricing, charging more, bundling, some of the topics I talked about, where if someone says no, we have another offer for them. We're not just going to let them go. We don't want that. We always want to have different offers for people so that everyone can afford something, because that keeps them in our system so that we can then reach back out. And then finally at week 8, we're going over everything and making sure that everyone's successful. Throughout this, you can get in touch with us and ask for help. All of this is live training as well. It's fully recorded too. If you can't attend, you have lifetime access to the recordings. Now, you do not have lifetime access to us because at this price point, that's a little crazy. You have 60 days of pretty much anytime access to me and to Christina and Mike as well. So you get 3 amazing mentors that have really outstanding businesses and a variety of different business models. And so it's in addition to that, we've got PDFs. I've got all the homework already in there for you. I've already got recordings in there too. So you can get started with all of that while you're waiting for the live. In addition, we have bonuses. So we have the podcasting course. So you never have to buy a podcasting course again. We have my virtual wellness course. So you never have to have any questions about virtual wellness. That's in there. I promise to call everyone. And so give me, a day or two to once you buy to reach out. But everyone gets an individual call with me so we can brainstorm and put your plan together and make sure that you are confident on the way and on the journey through this. I'm literally like giving you the shirt off my back to get started. And it's so reasonable. In addition, I've got more prizes. So I'm just like, I don't think there's anything more I can do to actually force you to start your healthcare business.
To come on. We're going to be live, y'all. So I'm just going to say it in my most southern way, with my most northern self over here. But y'all, this is a live course. So all of your other classes you purchased before, they have probably not been. And if they have been live, they haven't been as hands-on. This is going to be an extremely well-designed hands-on approach where we are going to be holding your hands for these weeks and getting you to where you want to be, whether it is the outpatient practice of your dreams or it is the side gig that you've always wanted to start, and to really just kind of create that foundation to start somewhere. Exactly. So this is the place to start.
Exactly. And we didn't want this to be an expensive, entry point. We don't want you to, I could be selfish and put this at like $2,000. And it's fair to have this be that. It's totally fair, but we didn't want that because I don't want anyone starting their business in a hole. I don't want that.
About that quite a bit. But myself and Emma, we were like, no, we can't. And we know that this is well worth over its weight in gold, but we want you to be ready in a way that's not going to put you out, because we all know how hard it is to start. We all know that we've started somewhere and we've all started down here and we're all working our way right up to the top. So, and I want you guys to remember that this is a journey. Okay. This is not something that happens overnight. It is a journey and a process. It's also a self-discovery process. And it's a way for you to really get yourself into a mindful mindset, and to really focus your goals and to come up with your objectives. Are they reasonable and feasible? And that's what this is all about.
Exactly. So you have, unfortunately, this is ending in 7 days. So it's currently 40% off. It's only $697. And this will end August 4th because we start August 6th. Yes. So we start August 6th. Now I've had some questions about, I can't attend live. No problem. We are not forcing you to attend live. If you don't want to attend live, you could do this all recorded. No problem at all. But we are here for you live. And if you can't make a live, I've even told some people, no problem. I am happy enough to hop on a call with you to make up that. Now, it won't be a 90-minute call, but I will one-on-one talk with you over what we covered and give you the review and answer the questions that you have.
And after this course, if any of you want to have one-on-one coaching, whether it's from Emma, whether it's from Mike, or whether it's myself, we're happy to offer that as well for individual pricing, of course, after this course. And it would sit you down for 60 minutes and we come up with the duration and frequency as how long we're going to coach for. And the cool thing about that is we don't have to discharge you.
I know, finally, no discharges, no
We
discharges.
can life coach you forever.
Yep,
And career
exactly.
coach you forever. So
Exactly.
thank you all so much. Questions, comments.
Let's see, we got one in the chat here.
Let me check the chat.
Cool. Awesome. Yes. And I mean, Yolanda will know I've worked with her before and we are extremely hardworking. So, I'm very approachable. A lot of you have, talked with me in the DMs, talk with me via email, talk with me over text or phone. I'm extremely approachable. So is Christina. So is Mike. And, you know, I know that this price point can be scary. I am super cheap. And so I'm always hesitant to join courses and while I can't promise you that your business will be successful because that's really on you.
That's
But
right.
what I can promise you is that, oh, thank you, Yolanda. She says I'm the bomb. Thank you so much. But what I can promise you is that we're going to try as hard as we can, and that you won't, if you feel alone, just reach out to us because we don't want you to feel alone. That's why we're only limiting this to 20 people so that we can keep it sustainable for us to be able to feel like you have an individual voice and you're heard.
That we can manage everybody. We can manage the group, the questions, the comments, the fears, because a lot of this is scary, like Emma said, but it's doable. It's just really, it's about the blood, sweat, and tears. And it's really about the grit that you put into it. And if you want it, you're going to get it. It's just about time and about how much you're invested and where you want to take it. And
Exactly.
we're here along the ride.
Exactly. But we hope we can get you up and started in 60 days. And, I think you can have, insurance. It takes a while for sometimes that approval process, but you can have the framework and you can start doing the support groups. You can start doing the networking. You can start doing the wellness. There are a lot of things that we can build as you're in that process so that you can get started and you'll have the whole framework once you have the insurance part to get, to hit the ground running. Any questions about that? I appreciate everyone listening to my spiel. I absolutely hate selling, but I
You're so
also
good at
want
it.
people, I want people to take action. I want you to take action and, really I'm trying as hard as I can to make this affordable. I did not grow up with a background that had certain opportunities. And so I always, it is $697. So I always want to try to give people the most reasonable opportunity possible so that they can succeed. And about how many patients would you say that you would need, Christina, to pay off this? Maybe like 3 visits?
I think like
Correct. Yep.
3 to 4 visits. 3 to 4 visits would do you.
Yeah.
So there you
Yep.
go. That's
Like not even in less than 1 week, you
Hey.
would have it. Yep.
Paid off. And this, I will tell you, I've researched and I've done the homework on different courses, and this is so fair and feasible. It's actually, and I think Mike and I would probably say the same thing. It's like overly fair, but she's got the heart, and so do I. And I'm like, no, I want people to come. I want people to come and to sit and listen and to enjoy this, and to also know that we're real people. We've done the homework. We're doing it even now as we're growing. And we're here along this journey with you.
Good question. Yolanda said, who's paying for the support groups? The facility?
Sure. That's a great question, Yolanda. Let me answer that. So the facility is actually paying for the support groups. So I would touch base with either their executive director, but it's typically the resident care coordinators that are coordinating these efforts because again, they go back to patient care, they go back to family involvement, and they're doing a lot of the coordination on that level. So either the executive directors, resident care quarters, and I've had some marketing people, outliers. I don't know why, but some of the marketing people do get involved with this too. So,
well, I think it's genius, these support groups, because whenever you can create something that helps the assisted living or the senior living grow, then it's a win-win. So these support groups are wonderful for the marketing team. Absolutely. Because they can market that as additional services.
That's right.
I don't know enough about surveys in senior living, but do you think this could help them with survey compliance too? Because I could see that being a big argument as well, is that you're doing various educational activities to keep them in compliance?
And so I'll answer that question there, and I put it right into the feed. So I'm actually getting more referrals, believe it or not, from some of the support groups, and even some of the other clinicians support groups. They're getting actually referred back to me. They're looking at different services across the board, and then the RCCs will kind of hone in and say, okay, Christina would be better suited for this. We're going to pull that patient out and give that referral over here. I ended up actually within the next month doing a support group for the family members and meeting the family member of the patient that was referred to me through another support group. So interesting how everything always comes full circle with this. So your first impressions are best impressions. And of course, getting together with your RCCs and your EDs are really, really vital in that piece. And getting them to get involved with marketing, again, is a whole nother aspect of it. I think that is a wonderful thing to have them involved. So.
Yeah, definitely. But anything that can be a win for you, make it a win for that senior living facility too. And they'll love you even more. And exactly. And like that one facility that Christina's speaking at, that's literally promoting it to the rest of the community. They're marketing it for you. So you're getting free promotion, and it's helping the assisted living or the senior living because people, it gains more media attention for that. People may want to come and stay there as a result, but it's also, at the same time helping Christina. So it's an amazing win-win.
Oh yeah. It is
yes. Yes, I will be sending a replay of this, Christy, as well as the link with all the information. Sometimes it may get into spam folders, so please check your spam just in case. But I will be sending this out tomorrow after work, so around 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Emma, you are so amazing, and I can't thank you enough for hosting and for engaging. She's an awesome facilitator, and I'm so excited to do this coaching event coming up. So y'all, please sign up. Yes. It's going to be awesome. If you're thinking about doing something, whether it's side gig or main business, we are here to help you and support you. Any other questions before we jump off?
Yes. And if you do have any questions, you think that last minute, you can put it in the comments. I think this did actually stream to the Facebook group. I did put it there as well, just in case, but you can always email us at info@alternativehealthcarecareers.com. I'll put that in, but info@alternative, I know it's a mouthful, healthcarecareers.com. And that you can email any questions that you have for us, and we'd be happy to get back to you as soon as we can. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. So once again, check out the Healthcare Business Challenge, alternativehealthcarecareers.com/healthcare business challenge. Thank you, Gwen. You're so kind, Gwen. It's been a blast. I appreciate everyone on this. You have made my day with your kindness and your patience. So I really appreciate it. And thank you, Christina, for just all the knowledge bombs. My head's like, and we appreciate everyone, and go out there and have a wonderful week, and just take action.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon, I hope. Thanks again.